friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristin. This is Intentional Living, and today is a little different. Today we are doing a nail and Q&A video, and I have all your cues in my Go Getter Girl notebook that I bought and I unstuffed with y'all on camera, and my link to Go Getter Girl is always down below if you are interested in getting a notebook that's this beautiful. So I'm just going to set these up right in front of me so I know all the great questions that y'all ask me on Instagram. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me over there. Also, I have some Sauvignon Blanc with me in my 2020 David Schitt's Creek wine glass, and that is the night we're having. I am about to go on my gals trip tomorrow, so I'm gonna paint my nails and answer some questions. And today's manicured look is thanks to Madam Glam New York. They were so kind to reach out and send me a nail kit, and I'm super excited to try it out. I did unbox it, as you can see, but then it was so pretty that I had to wait and open it with y'all. But look how cute this packaging is. It has a little cushion so nothing gets broken, and this is as far as I've opened it so far, I swear. So they let me pick a couple colors that I wanted, and it comes with everything to do a gel manicure. So it has a UV LED lamp, which I'm very intrigued on how it's this small. And then I picked a few blue colors. So this one is a more azul, very cute. And this one is Mindset, which is like more of a dark blue. And then this one is the lightest, and it is called Sweetness. And those were the three that I picked. How cute are those colors? I'm obsessed. And then it comes with the base coat gel, and then I'm assuming the top coat gel. Yep, top coat gel. So that is like the kit that I got. And we'll put all these out. And look how cute this box is. It's so well packaged, I think. And it's very small, so it travels well. So it comes with this, and they don't use any animal-derived ingredients, so it's vegan. It is free from 21 most toxic chemicals found in nail polish. They upcycle, they recycle, they don't test on animals, and they are palm oil free. All right, so we are going to get started. I'm gonna start by opening this lamp. And I don't do my nails a lot, so this should be a fun adventure for all of us. Cute, look how tiny. Okay, let's move these. It's so small. Okay, let's read it instead of breaking it. Cool, okay. Turn off. Okay, this is super cute and tiny. I don't know how to kick the legs out though. Ooh. Okay, so you might break a nail opening this, but once it's open, we're in business. So this is the LED UV lamp that we use to cure our nails. So this is the steps. You prep your nails for gel polish. I need to pick a color, and I think I'm gonna go with this lightest color just because it's summer and I love how like pale this is. Apply, base coat, and cure. So we are going to take the base coat here, and we are going to put that on, and cure it means under here, and it says to press it on top, and it is set for 45 seconds. Press it once for curing for 45 seconds, press a second time for 60 seconds, third to turn it off. So I'll click it once and then I'll cure my nails, it sounds like, and then that'll be that. So while I do this, I'll answer some of your questions. Checking that that's the base coat, because knowing me, I'd put the top coat on. Okay, so the number one question that I got is, what do I do for work? And that is a great question. And I work in education, and that's kind of all I'm comfortable saying at the moment. So I work in education, really love what I do. Not willing to quit my 9-to-5 right now. So other people have asked me kind of like, do you ever plan to quit your 9-to-5 to do this full time? And right now, no, but we'll see. Maybe one day. I put too much on this nail. But I got that question about like 6 times. So if you ask that, there's your answer. Sorry that it's vague, but privacy. Another question, the next two questions are kind of related. One says, how did you decide to open an Etsy shop? And that answer is pretty simple. I was basically in a lot of debt, and I first started my YouTube channel and I saw that there was a potential to make money there. And then I saw that there was also potential to make money in an Etsy shop, and I really wanted like a creative outlet. And so I decided to start an Etsy shop and combine it kind of with my YouTube channel. And so I started my YouTube channel in about October, and I started my Etsy shop in January. And so it's just been a way to make money, honestly, to pay off debt. And now I just like really like it. And so I just can't imagine doing anything else. So yeah, I started it basically out of a need to pay off debt, and then it turned into kind of more of a passion from there. And then another question I got was, how did you decide to begin a YouTube channel? And that was a little more complicated. So I was super nervous to start a YouTube channel, but I knew I needed accountability. Like, I've always been good theoretically about budgeting and about money and about math and all that, but I really needed some accountability. And so I thought a YouTube channel would be great accountability, especially if I gain subscribers, which obviously I have now, because you have to check in with people, right? Like, someone is holding you accountable to, how do I do this? To what you say you're going to do. And so that's kind of why I decided to begin a YouTube channel, was just for that accountability piece and really wanting to stay on track and pay off debt. Someone asked a question, how do you run your business? And I don't know how to answer that because there's a lot that goes into it. But if you're interested in more business related videos, I can film more about my business and how I run it. So basically it's a side gig for me. So I have a full-time job. And I just have learned a lot because one of my parents is a small business owner, and I just like learned a lot in school, taking different classes and just learning from my parents. So I run my business just kind of how I want to run it, but I can do more videos on that. I think my vlogs are kind of the best way to get an understanding of how I run my business, but obviously I haven't released that many vlogs, so I'm hoping to increase the number of vlogs that I do release moving forward, but I can do some business content if y'all are interested in that. So another question was, what is your favorite season? And what a fun question. My favorite season is fall. I just love when it's a little chilly, but still kind of warm, so you can wear shorts or pants. You can always wear a jacket. I'm a big sweatshirt gal. Y'all probably always see me in a hoodie in vlogs, or you see long sleeves in my videos. I just love wearing a sweatshirt and being comfy. So fall is probably my favorite season, followed by summer, followed by spring, followed by winter. I hate winter. I just hate it. I don't like being cold, and I'm always cold. So yeah, not a winter gal. This question was super funny. They said, what does Colin think about you being famous on YouTube? And I honestly never thought about myself being famous on YouTube, so that made me chuckle. But Colin thinks it's great. He's my biggest cheerleader. He would always jump in and help if I ever needed help. I try to keep him like separate because I like to, have different components to my life and some things that are just mine. And YouTube and Etsy are kind of like my things right now. So, but yeah, he's very supportive and definitely thinks it's great, the fact that I, got on better financial terms and just have done this work for myself. So yeah, he's great. Next question. Do you have a favorite kind of exercising? Yes. So the gym that I go to only does group classes, and I am a big group class person. I don't like exercising by myself, and so I like classes. So my favorite class is probably either HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, or I really like abs classes or like core classes because it's like my weakest part of my body probably, and so I like working it out and making it stronger. And I also like any type of class that involves cardio. Like, I'm not a runner, but I do like cardio. So like step classes or just anything that gets your heart rate up. Okay, step 3, apply 1 to 2 thin coats of gel color and cure after each one. I can do that. So base coat, thank you for your service. So we are doing sweetness. Okay, Not sure I can talk and do this, but we're gonna try. Okay, so someone asked me, how do I combine finances with my partner? So Colin and I recently moved in together about 2 months ago, and we only share some finances. So all of our utilities and rent, we split 50-50, and then we do split groceries, and we save a set amount for things like household savings, stuff like that, that matter to the both of us. Home repairs, yard work, things like that. So when I talk about my shared expenses, those are kind of the only categories that we combine. And it's not really combine, we both just like pay for things, and then we use the app Splitwise, and I'll leave a picture of Splitwise on the screen if I remember, or link it down below. But it's just kind of a way to, like, whoever pays for something, they can throw it in Splitwise and it automatically shows kind of what the other person owes you. And at the end of each week, we settle up with each other and we like pay each other back basically. So we just kind of go about our daily lives and then just charge the other person for 50% of whatever it is that we bought. And then we check in, we check in about like once a month just to make sure we feel good about the spending and that we're not overspending in certain areas and things. And we've only made really one adjustment since living together. So that's kind of how we do it. All right. What are some tips and tricks to stay motivated? That is really tricky. Get it? Tricky because everyone's different. So for me, what makes me feel motivated is doing something as quickly and efficiently as possible. So like for me, the debt avalanche method was really motivating. For other people, the debt avalanche method is probably really disheartening and not motivating because they maybe want more instant gratification and they don't get gratification out of the fact that they're saving money on interest. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. But I think you just have to know what motivates you or not. But what I would say for just like anyone who's trying to stay motivated and on track with their journey is just to make sure you're saving for fun things. So like for me, I always, kept the gym in my budget. I always kept dates in my budget because those things are fun for me. And I want to be able to, my God, what am I doing? I want to be able to do those things. And so I think just not restricting yourself to the point of like, you have nothing, like you have no other option but to fail because you have, deprived yourself of everything. So I would say building in fun things into your budget is important. And I think just tracking your progress really matters. So when I was in debt, I did debt trackers. Now that I'm saving, I have like goals that I want to meet. And so when I meet certain milestones, I acknowledge it. I celebrate a little. And I think just seeing progress really matters. So you have to be able to like notice your progress, I think, and acknowledge it as it goes. Next question is, what is your job like and how do you manage your time? My job is stressful. I work a lot of hours, but I love what I do. And I manage my time by attempting to be realistic with myself. That doesn't always work out. But I attempt to not overcommit to too many things, and I utilize my mornings. So on mornings that I work out at 6 a.m, I come home and I do some work for myself, and then I go to my 9-to-5 job. And then at nights, I also come back and utilize my evenings to do some work. So I'll come back, relax a little, eat dinner, and then do some things. But mornings have been the key for me. So really on mornings that I don't work out, I still try to get up at like 5:45 and get up and do some things before I have to be at work at 9. So I really just try to use the pockets of time that I'm given and just maximize my day that way and make sure that I build in time for myself. So for me, that looks like the gym. For you, that could look like reading, that could look like time with friends, whoever, whatever kind of fills your bucket. Everyone's different. So you kind of have to figure out what that thing is for yourself and then do it and make time for it. Someone asked, how does Colin feel about my cash stuffings? he is not a cash stuffer or budgeter, but he is supportive, and he just, I've learned a lot about finance from him, and I feel like has learned some things from me, and we're just like always having conversations about savings and about the future and about like kind of what our goals are financially. And so that's really nice to have a partner that you can talk to about those things, even if they don't do it in the exact same way that you do. So yeah, I think he's net supportive and just loves that I, have found a community in this really fun YouTube universe. So yeah, he's supportive and he is happy that I'm happy. This is so cool. It feels so much like dip when it dries, like it's hard. Okay, next question. Have you done other side hustles besides Etsy? Yes. So when I started my debt payoff journey, I sold a bunch of things. So I tried to get rid of things I wasn't using. Ironically, I had an iPad and I sold it because I wasn't using it. And then I went out and bought an iPad, but it helped me, pay off debt. So I sold a lot of things to make money. I also tutored for a while and made money that way. During the pandemic, you could make good money virtually tutoring. So I did that. I also, like YouTube, I make money from now. And I also am studying to be a coach for the Enneagram, if you've heard of the Enneagram personality system. And I host some Enneagram workshops and get paid for that. But those are kind of my main sources of income, I would say. How long did it take for your Etsy shop to bring in income? So it depends. So I had some savings that I decided to spend to get all the materials I needed to launch my Etsy store. I did get a Cricut for my birthday for my boyfriend, or for Christmas for my boyfriend. So I didn't have to pay for that, but I did pay for like the vinyl and the different tools that I needed outside of the Cricut with my own startup money. And I didn't pay myself back for that. It was money I had in savings that I could stand to lose. So I just kind of paid for it. It depends. It would have taken me a couple months to actually bring in money if I was counting, like if I paid myself back for that money. But because I didn't do that, I was making money right away. The key with Etsy and with any side hustle that you're selling products is to just make sure you're pricing things correctly, because a lot of people price things too low and don't end up paying themselves very much. And so I always built my pricing model around making sure that I was making money that made sense for the work I was putting into it. And so while I was making products, I kind of timed myself and saw how much time went into each product, and that kind of helped me figure out my pricing model. So if y'all want a video kind of about how to price your products on Etsy, let me know and I can do something like that. Coat number 2, here we come. Sorry, I was concentrating real hard. Okay, next question. What country or countries do you want to visit in Europe? So I'm assuming that means on this upcoming Europe trip. So I have been to Europe before. I studied abroad in the Netherlands and really loved that experience while on that trip. I went to Turkey, I went to Germany, I went to Austria, I went to France, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Prague in the Czech Republic. Where else did I go? Oh, I went to England, I went to Ireland, I went to somewhere else, but I can't remember now. But I've traveled a lot when I studied abroad, so I tried to make the most of that experience. So when I'm going back, I'm going to a wedding in Croatia, so definitely Croatia. While I'm over there, depending on the war, depending on what Russia's up to, I would love to go to Poland. I had every intention of going to Poland when I studied abroad, but I got a Euro pass while I was studying abroad, and I didn't realize that Poland was not part of the EU at the time. And so the train tickets to get into Poland were going to be extremely expensive because they weren't covered by the Euro pass. But I was already on the train on my way to Poland, and they told us that. And so we had to, in the middle of the night, switch trains like switch cars on the train, and because it was splitting in 3 ways, and it could either, we could go to Poland as planned and pay like $400 to get into Poland, or we could go to Copenhagen, or we could go to Prague. And so we decided to go to Prague. And so I showed up in Prague with nothing booked, no hostel, knew nothing about Prague. And we just got Wi-Fi at a McDonald's, and we figured out where we could get a hostel for the night. And we had the absolute best weekend. So that was super fun. But yeah, would love to go to Poland. Would love to go to Hungary. Would love to go to Greece. We've heard some of our friends might want to go to Greece, so that would be fun. It's not really been high on my list, but like one day I would love to go to Greece, so might as well be this trip. But yeah, I'm thinking more like Eastern Europe, because I've kind of done more of Western Europe already, so I'd love to like spend more time in Eastern Europe. Another question was, how do you decide how much money goes into each category? It kind of depends on my spending habits for the time of year, but I try to align them with my goals. And cute. I'm messy, but I think it's cute. So like I said, it kind of depends on my goals, but I try to stuff the things I know I need for spending in the upcoming future. And then I try to always stuff some of my savings for bigger things that I know will come in the future. So like electronics, I want to have money for when my phone inevitably crashes and I need a new one. My future, vacations that I don't know about yet, those types of things, weddings and babies. So honestly, I don't have a good answer. It just kind of depends on what I'm feeling and what I know is coming up. And if I have a savings goal, like something specific, like this girls trip I'm about to take, I typically do the math of like what do I want for the trip? And then how much do I need to stuff every week between now and the trip for me to reach that savings goal? And I try to do that. So some of them are pretty calculated and some of them are willy-nilly. One question was, what is your favorite part of the new house? Probably my office, what I'm in now. It's so nice having a full office, and I haven't even been able to use it in its full glory because my Etsy shop has been down most of the time we've lived here, because I've just needed time to get adjusted and unpack and all of those things. And I hit a busy season with my job, and we're traveling a lot, and so for all those reasons, I haven't really used it to its full potential, but definitely my office. Next would be probably the yard. I just love that we have a yard. It's just really nice to not be in an apartment for once, so love that. How is it living with Colin? I know it was an adjustment for me and my boyfriend when we did it, so that was a question. And living with Colin is great. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have loved living alone in the past, and not so much loved living with roommates. But Colin is the best of both worlds, where he is a roommate, but he's like my favorite roommate. So big fan of living with him. It's been super fun, and I love that we don't have to travel to see each other, like make plans. We just come home and they're there, and I can catch up with him and like hear about his day. It's so nice. We have had to have conversations about like who does what around the house, so like splitting up chores and things. So like I do the laundry and the dishes, and he does like the floors, like the surfaces, so the floors and the counters, like cleaning those, and he does all the yard work, and he does the cooking. So we kind of split up things that way, which has worked out for us so far. We've made some tweaks to it, and we're still communicating about what's working, what's not, but for the most part, that's probably the biggest adjustment, if anything, is just kind of divvying up household duties. Next question. How did you get into budgeting? Honestly, I just reached a point where I maxed out my credit card and I started panicking, and then I was like, oh wow, I'm in a lot of debt, I should get out of that. And then I decided that I needed a budget. And so I went to YouTube and was like, how do I budget? I'm in so much credit card debt. And I found the Budget Mom, and that's how I got into budgeting. And that's also how I found the cash stuffing community. So full circle moment. Okay, now we are applying the top coat and curing. So I'm probably gonna cure it for 60 seconds after the top coat. This next question is super fun because no one's ever asked me this. What did you major in college? I was a math major and I double majored in statistics. So I actually had 2 majors, mathematics and statistics. And I graduated with almost a perfect GPA. I had like a 3.98 or something stupid like that. Graduated summa cum laude. And so I was very proud of that at the time. The funniest story that I tell people is that I only received 1 B in my entire college career, and it was when I studied abroad, and it was a B in English, and the class was taught by a Dutch professor because I was in the Netherlands. So 1 B, and it was in my language, and a Dutch professor gave it to me. So that was really fun. It's kind of a good story though. And then I got 1 A minus in a number theory class, like a really advanced mathematics class. And yeah, those are the only 2 non-A's that I got in college. So yeah, I love numbers. Budgeting is like great for me because it's just like a big math puzzle. So that is why, again, the debt avalanche method kind of appealed to me, because it was mathematically like the best way to pay off debt as fast as you possibly could. So that really appealed to me, and I have some really fun spreadsheets that I use to pay off debt, and that kept me very motivated. The next question I kind of already answered, but it was, how did you stumble across the budget community? And it was, again, realizing I had maxed out my credit card. I only have 1 credit card to my name, realizing I had a problem and needed to fix it, and realizing I needed to pay off my debt. And so then I Googled like how to pay off lots of debt, and the Budget Mom popped up. A lot of Dave Ramsey stuff popped up, but I just like don't vibe with him. He's too mean and like too narrow-minded, I think, for me. I do acknowledge that he definitely kickstarted and if not created the cash envelope community. I'm not really sure the origins of the cash envelope method, but he had a lot to do with that. So I give him credit for that. And like, not everything he says is incorrect or useless, but I just don't vibe with him. So the Budget Mom is more who I vibe with. Gotta turn the page. Okay, the next question is, have you thought about buying a house? Yes, I have thought about it. But I can't afford to buy one right now. So my future envelope is kind of for whatever life throws at me next. So it could be a wedding, it could be a baby, it could be a house. So those are all definitely in my future. But my goal if I were to buy a house with a significant other, I would love to save like $20,000 before I did that. So definitely need to crack down and save for that over a couple years if I do get to the point of wanting to buy one. So probably not in my 20s will I buy a house, because I'm 28 currently. Someone asked me this, it's very Etsy shop specific, but how do you know the different sizes for the envelopes that you make? So basically there are A7, A6, and A5 that come in zip pouches, and I also make the laminated versions for A7 and A6, and those are just basic measurements that you can find online because they're planner sizes, and the size tells you how the hole punches are oriented, and then you can kind of make the actual size of the envelope whatever you want it to be. So I just kind of played around with what I had, and then I created a cheat sheet. It looks like this on a clipboard, but it has like the size that I use for each item that I make, so that I know exactly how to cut it every time so that they're uniform. So you can Google it. Again, the biggest thing is where the hole punches go, not so much the size, but then I went ahead and bought an A7 planner, an A6 planner, an A5 planner, just so I could make sure they fit, make sure they were a good size, all that good jazz. And then I created my own sizes for other envelopes. So I created the mini, the micro, the tiny, yeah. So I created those sizes, and I just picked what I wanted those to be and wrote them down, and now they're all uniform. So next question was, are you gonna make the 90s style mystery envelope for June permanent? Great question. No. So my mystery cash envelopes are supposed to be for 1 month only. That's like kind of the fun of it, is you have to order it or not. And if you miss out, you miss out. So they are not going to be permanent in my shop. None of the mystery designs will be. So I'm kind of committing to that to make sure that I, you know, hold myself accountable to that pledge, because I said it at the beginning of, you know, doing this, that I would not make them regulars even if I loved them. So yeah, the 90s style is gone and it's not coming back, which is super sad, but I hope that y'all picked it up if you love like 90s vibes, because it was a super fun mystery envelope, but it was a ton of work, and I will probably not do that intricate of a one for a while because I'm beat after doing that. It took forever and it took so much vinyl. Like, I think I lost money on selling those because of how expensive the vinyl was to make those. So that was my bad too. I didn't plan it out very well. Okay, next question. Any tips for feeling overwhelmed? I feel like I'm drowning. That's so sad. I hope that you take some time for yourself and find, you know, some peace in the meantime. But I think when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just like try to reassess my limits. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I take on too much without kind of assessing whether I am in a state where I can do that or not. So I've had to shut my shop even at times where I really needed the money, just because I was getting like mouth ulcers from stress. And so you just have to be aware of your body and know your limits and know when you need to say no. So just try to stay in tune with what you need, and just like take time for yourself. Like I said, build it into your budget, build it into your schedule. So for me, I budget for the gym, I budget for my boyfriend, and I budget for eating out. Those are 3 things that bring me lots of joy and I love to do. So I'm gonna put them into my budget. I also put them into my schedule. So I will say no to Etsy if it means time with my boyfriend. I will say no to YouTube if it means I get to go to the gym. And like sometimes YouTube wins out and the gym loses, but like not all the time. So you just have to be willing to say no to some things and value yourself and your wellness. Yeah, I would say breathe. I also think going to counseling has helped me a lot. So I go to counseling weekly, and I have a great health insurance plan. So I only pay a $10 copay. And I know a lot of people don't have that privilege, but going to counseling can really, really help. I'm on some medication now as well, which helps. So I think just kind of seeking help when you need it is very important, and knowing your limits. Someone else said, how did you start your Etsy shop? And I kind of already answered that, but how I physically started it was that I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I think I'm gonna carry these one more time. I watched a ton of YouTube videos to learn as much as I possibly could about Etsy and how it worked, and kind of what I wanted my shop to look like before I ever started it. So, yeah, I think just do your research and then get as much prep work as you can before you launch. But I also think having a YouTube channel helps with motivation for your Etsy, because my YouTube immediately drove traffic to my Etsy shop. Without YouTube, I don't know that I would have had customers right away. So I think having a platform like YouTube first and then launching an Etsy might like help with morale, I guess, and like motivation for sticking with it. Next question, we only have 2 left and we're almost done with my nails, so that's kind of perfect. What advice do you have for people starting with the system? So if you're starting with the cash envelope system, or you're started with budgeting in general, my advice would just be to learn from your mistakes. So you are going to inevitably not budget enough for something. You're inevitably going to have to pull out of a different category because you overspent. So just like learn from it, take a note and move on, and just don't waste a mistake, basically. There's a saying, don't waste a crisis. And I'm not saying you're in a crisis, but don't waste any mistakes. Just learn from it and move on, and give yourself some grace, because breaking habits is super hard. So I also think, like, for me, the biggest thing that helped with motivation was to increase my income. So having a side hustle, whether it's Uber Eats or Etsy or YouTube or tutoring or selling things, just creating more income for yourself so you can put more money towards debt or towards your savings goals or whatever it is that you're starting the system to do. I think that can help with the initial like hump of like, this isn't fun and I'm depriving myself and I hate this kind of attitude. So when I started making more money, it really helped me learn the beauty of budgeting, because it allowed me to spend money on things I truly wanted versus just spending money on frivolous things I didn't need. So yeah, that's kind of my advice, is just be kind to yourself, and also like do whatever motivates you to stay with it until it becomes a habit, because eventually now it's just a habit for me. It's a new habit and I can't fathom doing it any other way, but that took me a long time to get to. So don't be hard on yourself. Last question, which is great because my nails are almost done. What new designs will you have coming up and when will you release them? So new designs I am going to work on while I'm on my girls trip. So if you have suggestions, let me know down below, but probably just stick with my general minimalistic aesthetic, and probably get some new fonts and a few new designs and do away with some unpopular designs that people didn't really like. So yeah, that is the plan for that. So if you have ideas, let me know in the comments, and then I will release them in July. And I'm not ready to announce the launch date today, but likely it will be, I will announce it once I get back from the girls trip and can film some new videos for July. So information coming soon, but it will be in the month of July, I promise. And I will plan to stay open this time. I just needed a break to get through my summer vacations and things. So that is it for my nails. The last step was to remove the tacky layer at the end and wipe nails with a lint-free wiping alcohol. So I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom to do that. So that is why they're still kind of shiny and tacky. But that is the last step. And this was super, super easy. I did this in, let's see, 35 minutes is I think how long I've been recording. And if y'all liked this set from Madam Glam New York, it's super cute, super easy to use. Even me, who does not paint my nails, can do it, and they look amazing. And I will report back after my vacation of how well they held up. But if you want to purchase this, I will leave my code down below in my link. You'll get 30% off your kit or whatever you order off the website. There is a code. It's like Kristin KIL 30_1, but I'll just link it. Just click the link and then check out and you'll get 30% off. So check that out if you're interested in the nail kit. And I will definitely be using these other two colors. So just as a reminder, I got Sweetness, which is what I'm wearing now, which is a super light pale blue. This is a dark blue and it's called Mindset. And then this one is a bright blue called Amor Azul. And y'all know I love blue. So check that out if you're interested, and I will catch y'all when I get back from my trip, and I will give you a full budget breakdown from the trip. So thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your questions, and I'll see you in my next video.